there's a list of names that Manchester City are being linked with. I think I can anticipate your answer, but if I reel them off and talk about Isco and Sane, will you give me the usual answer when we talk about speculation?
Ready. I answered already your question.
And what about perhaps Pablo Zabaleta speaking to Inter Milan about going there next season again?
Same thing. Same answer. No, I don't talk about rumors.
Can I try cracking the egg another way and asking whether there is a need to strengthen your squad this January?
Well, for the moment, I think that we have the correct squad for this season, so we are not thinking about any special player or any special position. But it's always open till the last day.
And in terms of departures, I imagine with the squad the way it is, you wouldn't want to see anybody leave unless it was perhaps a loan for a younger player.
No, nobody I think that will leave the squad in this window of transfer. I think that we have the correct squad, so probably nobody will come and probably nobody will go out. But I repeat, it's never closed till the last day.
How big a competition is the League Cup for not only for you but also for Manchester City? You've won it once, the club's won it 3 times.
Well, I think it's important to, when you are in a competition, always try to win it. We already won 3 previous games. Now we're in semi-final. It's a double game of 180 minutes. I think that for the team, for the club, for everyone, it's always important to win a title. And it's very beautiful when you finish in Wembley, full of people, seeing that game. So it's very important for us to win it.
Because you've got so many games in such a short space of time, will you change things around for the game at Goodison Park tomorrow night?
Well, as you said, we have a lot of games, of course. Fortunately, we have most part of the squad fit, so we can make some changes. We'll see which is the best team to start every game. Tomorrow we have a difficult game against Everton, and tomorrow we'll see which player we start. How
much of an advantage is it that you have the second leg here at the Etihad, having gone to Goodison Park for the first leg?
Well, it's not a decisive thing, but I think it's important. It's always, for me, it's always better to play away first, so you know more what you can do at home. Especially more in Champions League when when you play at home, you must try not to concede goals. So you never know if it's a good result when you play the first game at home. That's why it's better to finish. But I repeat, what's more important is the performance of the team than in the way you play.
I just wonder how much of an advantage it is, bearing in mind I think it's the 4th semi-final in the League Cup in 6 seasons that you're used to playing in this sort of competition, and perhaps Everton, this is a very big, perhaps bigger game for them.
Yes, maybe. Both teams, I think that must have it doesn't happen what happened in the past. Both teams have the same illusion to win the title, so I think that will be a very tough game.
Can I ask your reaction to what happened to Rafa Benitez at Real Madrid? I mean, a similar thing happened to yourself after 96 points on the board, and it ended then, is it?
Well, at least I finished the year. It was better. It was in 96. I knew from the beginning that I was not going to continue in the next year for some important difference about the president. But it's not strange. It's not strange if you see what happened in Real Madrid in the last 5 or 6 years. So I am sorry about Rafa Benitez, because I think it's a manager that deserves respect, but I'm not strange what happened in Real Madrid.
You know how difficult that job is. Is it a job that's perhaps too big for someone who hasn't been a manager before in the shape of Zidane?
It's always to manage a big team is very difficult. Real Madrid is a very difficult team, but it's more difficult in the way they manage the club than the position of the manager.
I imagine the hierarchy here and the way things are run at Manchester City is very different to what you experienced at Real Madrid.
Yes, absolutely different. It's another way to think about the role of the manager. It's another way to think with the authority of the manager. There's a lot of things that are different. That's why one team is changing manager every year, and this team is not the politics of the game of the owners to be changing immediately that you don't win a title. So different, I repeat, different project, sport project, especially for each club.
And injury-wise, anything new or any updates on players that are out?
Our what?
On injuries, any new injuries?
No. Well, yes, Bony. Bony has a kick in his calf, so maybe he's not fit for tomorrow, but I think that in 2 days more he will be okay. And the other 2 continue, well, Sami Nasri and Vincent Kompany.
Thank you, Manuel.
Manuel, in terms of, obviously Bony's now picked up this knot, but in terms of Sergio Aguero over the next few matches, is he able now to play 3 games in a week, or are you going to have to manage how many minutes he plays over the next few weeks?
Yes, I think that Sergio is able to play 3 games in a week. He has no problem for this moment. His last injury was just pain inside his heel, was not a muscle injury, so also that it's very important. Maybe he will not play all the games, but if you ask me, he's fit. Yes, he's fit, and I think that the best way for him to recover his best performance is playing games.
Looking at Everton's defence, they've conceded 8 times in the last 3 home games. They're a team that you can get at.
Well, we are not going to change our style of playing because Everton will see less or more goals. I think that we try to normally to play as an offensive team, to create options, to try to score the most amount of goals that we can. We don't think that will be easy because Everton conceded some goals in the last game because every game is different. But we are going to try to continue our style, and I hope that we could score goals.
Obviously, in your first season, you won this competition, the League Cup, and went on to win the Premier League. How much of a catalyst was this to go on then and win the Premier League?
It's important. It's very important for the trust of the players, because if you win a title, it's because you are doing things well. This title finishing in February, so you must need to continue playing 3 months more in your best performance. But I think it's important when you play, as I just said, the competition, and you are doing it well. It's important to win it for a lot of things, and one of those things, because I repeat, you are doing the things in the correct way.
Can it have the same sort of effect this year then?
I said what?
Can it have the same sort of effect this year? Can winning the League Cup push you on to win the Premier League title as well?
Well, I think that's very important to try to go game by game. First, we must beat Everton to think about the first title, that is the capital one. After that, we must think to start in the best way the FA Cup. And when we return to the Premier League next week against Everton again, we will try to add the most amount of points that we can, so to try to win the title. I think the mentality is to try to win all, but I think that the most important thing is for you, for the whole squad, to be focused in game by game. It doesn't matter in which competition you are playing.
Winning the competition, though, what does it bring? Does it bring extra confidence? Does it take pressure off because you've already won a title already?
No, I don't think that you have pressure off, because in a big team you must always have pressure to win all the competition. So it's important to win, because if you compete for the title, if you win the title, it's because you are the best team. With that, you cannot relax because you win a title in February. It's an important title, but we must continue trying to reach another stage of the Champions League, and we must try to continue winning the FA Cup that we start on Saturday, and of course the Premier League. Maybe it's impossible to win all of them, but your mentality and your attitude and your desire is to have that winning mentality, to think that you can do it.
Thank you.
Manuel, you mentioned about the injuries a little earlier. Obviously, we know about Nasri being long-term, and obviously Vincent, it's not new news, but is there a plan to try and recuperate him now? Have you managed to get to the bottom of the calf problem?
Yes, of course. We'll try to do all what we can for recover them as soon as we can. Sami Nasri is more difficult, because when you have those surgery in your muscle, you know that you need an amount of time that's impossible to do it before. In case of Vincent, he's doing all what he can do to see which is the best way to recover sooner.
Have you ruled out surgery? Is that something that you're still looking at?
About Sergio?
Surgery for Vincent.
Surgery. No, I repeat, it's a doctor issue. I am just listening what they said. For me, it's very important the positive attitude of Vincent, that is trying to recover sooner, and his work every day. So I hope that we can do it before that the doctor said.
With it being January, inevitably questions raised about players, but are you happy with the central defensive options you have now if you take Vincent out of the equation?
It depends. Of course. If you go in some games, maybe you are disappointed. But if you ask me about the whole season of this season and the last season from the Michelis, And for Mangala, yes, I'm very happy. I trust in both of them. I think that Otamendi was a very important, or it's a very important player now in our team. We brought him at the beginning of the year, and I think that with those three central backs and with Vincent and Bakary also can play in that position, we don't need another centre back. So I trust absolutely in all of them.
With Everton, Roberto Martinez has been criticised for his side's defensive performances, and it's been said that he isn't a good defensive manager, but obviously Everton can score goals in the other way. Is that fair? Is that a fair criticism for a manager to have a weak spot like that, or is it not that simple?
I will answer you the same what I just said for your question. It depends on which game you are talking about. Maybe in the last game, Everton conceded more goals than they normally concede, but I don't think that the manager is good defending and bad in attacking, or in the other sense, bad in attacking and good in defending. I think in the way that Everton play, maybe there is always an attractive football, a creative football, an offensive football. Maybe it's always more difficult. It happen. All the teams that want to propose the game in the opposition side, it's more difficult to defend because you have more space. I am absolutely sure that if you stay with 10 players near your box, it's more easy not to allow the other team to create a space. But I think in the mentality in the football that a lot of managers prefer to be a good attacking team, and maybe in some games, not in all, they can make some mistake when they have more space that the other team can score goal. But I don't think that Roberto Martinez is weakest in defending.
Just finally, it's been confirmed Pep Guardiola has said the reason he's not renewing the contract with Bayern is that he wants to manage in England, that he has had contact with Premier League clubs, so he is heading this way. What's your reaction to that?
No, I don't have a reaction about what the feelings of other managers.
Was it something that you were aware of anyway, that Pep might be?
It's a question I answered 2 weeks ago, and I said no more about that.